Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rob Wilson, your friendly neighborhood artist, digital artist, and all those little technical terms that are out there. I come to you today with another round of live stream. I just had to put that in there. I had way too much fun with the fake news thing. So, let's go ahead and get straight to the point, why we're here, which is, of course, to talk about Mr. Goblin. And before I even do that, I just want to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of proof as to why um, I've been mentioning so much about me spending 10 years supporting the MCU, Marvel. They're my folks, all the way since Iron Man 1, technically, since Spider Man 2. That's where the whole shared universe thing started to begin. And we're here now. So, um, in my experience, this didn't start until Thor Ragnarok. Um, Me being such a big fan of MCU, I had to make it a point to go ahead and see uh, the movies that the MCU has produced on the way to Infinity War, and the most exclusive, as much as I could afford, and special, you know, event. So AMC, which I was a member of, they were doing special fan events, which were about an hour before the Thursday release, 7 p.m. release. So I got to see it at 6 p.m. The MCU movies, and with that, paid $25, included lanyard, included big bucket of popcorn, and it also included exclusive coins that actually have weight to them. So this was the first one that they started, to my knowledge. This was the Thor Ragnarok one. It's pretty freaking awesome. So when I went to go see Thor Ragnarok, this was available. It's got Thor's helmet on one side, and it's got Hulk's helmet on the other. World War Hulk, or whichever version of Hulk that appears to be. And then next was Black Panther, and I had a pretty interesting story about the Black Panther one because I had to work. Wasn't by my choice, but last minute changes, so I had to work. The Black Panther one, I couldn't go see it when I ordered the special fan event, and I actually called the AMC theater that I was going to see it at, and I said, "Hey, can I please talk to the manager in a nice, calm way, not in a rage out way?" And I asked, I proposed, I don't want a refund because I can't make it to the theater. I actually am asking if you could hold my coin, give me credit for the movie, and just put it in the envelope. I'll be there to pick it up. That way you get your ticket sales, you got credit, there's no refund, and plus I get my points, my MC points, and then I'll come and pick up the coin. So when I showed up, they were kind of didn't know what I was talking about until I spoke to enough people, and then talked to the manager, and they held all that, the lanyard, the Black Panther lanyard, and the coin as well. So that's how I made sure I got a hold of that one. So after that, we got Infinity War, which was the next one in line. And I made sure, bet my sweet ass I was there to see that opening night or the first viewing. And that was phenomenal. And, the kind of downfall of Marvel had begun. So, yes, I was there. I got the Captain Marvel one as well. Faster, stronger, further, whatever the heck, that weak ass quote is. I got that one. Ant-Man and Wasp. That was the next one. So I got Ant-Man and Wasp, that coin. I was there for that. And then I wrapped it up with Avengers Endgame. And that was the completion of my collection. because I had enough. I went through a lot to get these. Paid my fair share, and that is my collection of the Infinity Six coin movies there. So that's why I say, I was a 10-year defendant and, supporter of the MCU. Yes, I was. I didn't buy every single collector's item, but nonetheless, I made sure that I was there for a lot of opening nights when they first started. Ironically, when it came to the Incredible Hulk, I did not go to see it in theaters because I figured, hey, I just saw Iron Man. Incredible Hulk is going to be a similar situation. He's going to face a bigger and stronger version of himself, and which he did. I was right in the form of Abomination. But I thought that movie deserves better credit than what it got. So, with that being said, we're here talking about. I like to get straight to the point, of the subject matter of what this is, and then afterwards, if I am not too short on this subject, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of drawing during this live stream. But we're here to talk about the Goblin himself. MCU villains, Goblin knows best. And the reason why I say that, or I picked that subject, because it's just been looming on me. I just recently saw Spider-Man No Way Home again, and that was great and fun, twisted as hell. But it just reminded me of how awesome and how ruthless of the butchery that William Dafoe displayed in the character of the Green Goblin, aka Norman Osborn. And it seemed like every time he threw a pumpkin bomb, it was one of the most pivotal points in that movie. Some people say that movie is like a big, wonderful, amazing gob of whatever, and that's fine. I agree with them. There was a lot going on. Spider-Man beating Doctor Strange. Yeah, I didn't think that was too believable. But then again, that Doctor Strange, he's not even Sorcerer Supreme. How does that work? It's amazing how apparently by him giving up the stone and him being blipped, he gave up his title as Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, whatever. But getting back on point, William Dafoe's character, Green Goblin, was just so methodical and so evil. I was like, this dude is better than Thanos was in the MCU. And I stand by that. You could try to change my mind, but I'm not sipping no coffee waiting on you. That's for sure. That's for damn sure. So that's where we're starting this whole thing. I'm going to go back through a list of some of the MCU villains and kind of see how they measure up. Because for me, I think this is pretty much a green wave, so to speak, with Green Goblin rocking it out. Now, before we do continue, I just pretty much hit the headlines there with that. I would like to go ahead and let you guys know, since I am a digital artist, I do all kinds of great little fun stuff. I've been doing it for a long time. And I want to go ahead and make you aware of where you can see my art. And like I said, I've been doing art, started traditional, and I learned digital by myself, self-taught. And that was a headache going from Windows XP to Windows Vista, jack my system all up. So here we are. I do have a Patreon. As I mentioned in my first stream, it's We Comics, and my freelance stuff I do is RW Artstallations. That's how I do it. My Patreon's been around for about almost 4 years now, about 4 years. And I just chose to keep it real simple now. So for $1, it's thank you for your support. And actually, you get stuff in that as well: sketches, updates, events I might be doing, where they call it exclusive, you know, details here and there. And for $5, that gets you in from Nebula to the Black Hole tier. Black Hole tier, you get digital sketches, speed painting, video access, full HD digital images, video shout outs, and comic book access with concept art. So that's how my thing is going. I have about 165 posts exclusively already there. I talk about my comic book stuff, use reference material. I try to share some of my techniques as well to make other future artists, hopefully give them a helping hand, because I understand that, you know, with art, it's not much if you don't leave a legacy behind. And I'm sure there are tons of people that are doing the educational stuff. And I've learned from people younger than me. I'm 39, on my way to 40. And I want to make sure that, you know, I at least contribute something to the cause of this, you know, infinite growing cloud of art. So that's what's going on with my Patreon. Um, got a lot of things, you know, involved, and my main focus is digital art, doing comics specifically. So that's where I'm going. I'm learning a lot of skills now that I originally did not have, and I'd like to thank How to Draw Comics um, for providing details and content that I was able to purchase while I was overseas and study some of their material, which I'm still going through now. So, like I said, that's what's going down over there, Patreon stuff. Um, if you're interested, if you'd like to get updates, great. I try to, you know, do several posts throughout the month. Excuse me, and on top of that, provide rewards, digital rewards, exclusive videos of speed paintings, and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you want to branch out to everywhere that I'm at, if you go to my link tree, actually, here, yes, if you go to my link tree, you'll get all of the places that I'm at. Vimeo, I have a lot of my old speed paintings there. I'm also on Twitch, MeWe. I have my website on ArtStation as well. I have merchandise with my art on it on Gumroad, DeviantArt. That's going to be a secondary Patreon spot. I'll have subscribers there as well. Doing that like $1 and $5. I'm not looking for much, you know, because I want to make sure that I just put together a really good product. I have flooded myself before by providing so many rewards. It was hard for me to keep up with. But this time I'm just really keeping it simple. And with your help, especially like if you subscribe and follow and like videos, these streams like this, in the future, you know, you may help contribute to allowing me to build together a team, which is something I do want to do in the future. But at this time, a lot of it is do it myself, as long as it doesn't wear myself thin. So script writing, I've had to learn. Also, was it comic book script writing and 3D rendering? That's what I'm learning now. And I'm finding that it is important to have these skills in order to really put together a good product, or outsource, get someone to help you get you there. And that's something that hopefully I do hope to accomplish in the future. So with that being said, that's that. Let's get back to Mr. Grinch. I'm kidding, Mr. Defoe himself. So yeah, like, let's start with the first Spider-Man. I mean, he did his thing. A lot of people didn't like his costume, the helmet. And there were a lot of different concepts art when it came to the Green Goblin. William Defoe's acting prowess alone carried that character to so many dimensions. He's doing it. He did it better than Moon Knight's doing it right now, because with him as Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin, William Defoe already tapped into the multi-personality, the split personality due to the serum, his version of the super soldier serum, so to speak. And he masterfully had conversations with himself, talking to his mask, and really showed how twisted he was. And then he carried that all the way over to Spider-Man No Way Home and showed deception as to whether or not Norman Osborn was really Norman Osborn or if he was really the Goblin in disguise. And again, he took Tom Holland to town. He took him to task. He broke him. He broke him. You know, and he had no tears for what he did in Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, he helped define the character, which was ironic because he basically helped define two Spider-Men. You know, Tony Stark may have been Tom Holland, his version of Spider-Man's mentor, but Green Goblin really showed Spider-Man who and what he has to do to exist in the world. A world that apparently no one knows who he is now anymore, which, whatever. I think that when I look at Obadiah Stane from the first Iron Man, really threatening character, because he was, you know, a warmonger, and therefore he created Ironmonger. How ironic would that be? And he did his thing, but I think in a way he didn't have as much ruthlessness that a psychopath would have. Like Green Goblin's psychopathic tendencies is on par with the Joker. That's how twisted he is. That's how twisted I think he is. So in a way, you know, fans already looking at Defoe to possibly play the Joker. It's only fitting because he's already displayed his maniacal skills already in the MCU, taking it to as far as they could at PG-13. But nonetheless, you take your next villain in Iron Man 2. Sam Rockwell, Justin Hammer, Whiplash, you know, the Russian. No, nowhere near as threatening as William Defoe's Green Goblin. And that's just keeping it real. Totally honest. You know, not really cutting around any corners with that. I mean, think about it. Iron Man 2, you had two villains that had to team up. You know, you had the weapons manufacturing competition with Stark, and then you had a guy that stole the arc reactor systems, or his dad worked along with Howard Stark to get it. However way you want to, you know, paint it, or however way the story was painted. I'm just keeping it real for you. Iron Man 3. You know how that goes. I liked Iron Man 3 in particular because it had it touched the areas of, you know, military amputees and their hopes and promises of having a better life through experimentation. That's pretty deep, in my opinion. You know, a lot of people just blew it off and all that, which ironically, I want to say this because my last stream I talked about Sonic, and one of the extremely big fans of whatever movies and what's his name? I can't think of his name, but the guy who was in the news truck in the small town that Tony Stark was in Iron Man 3, who had the tattoo of Tony Stark, he was in Sonic 2 as well, and he really played that big fan of the main character status. So I thought that was pretty cool. And he was like a sheriff or something like that, or deputy sheriff. So I thought that was pretty funny. Right now, I am sharing the link tree in the description if you would like to know more about where I have my art and where you could go to support it if you're interested. I know there are tons of competition out there, tons of people doing their thing. They're rocking it out, they individually or they got their teams. But like I said, I've been doing my stuff for a while, and some things I just lack the knowledge on. I will admit that. I have no problem admitting that. But this is a learning process. And with this learning process comes evolution. And, you know, evolution can be a mystery, stretching far back as the eye can see. Sorry, it's Motorhead Triple H. Big fan. I am a pro wrestling fan as well. But let's get back on subject. The first Avengers movie, Loki, driven by glorious purpose, right? Soft. Soft. Unfortunately, that's how the MCU made him after a while. And, I really don't think he compares in any way to William Defoe's, uh, methodical ways and tendencies for destruction. He's worried about having everyone kneel at his feet. Uh, Green Goblin is more concerned about mass destruction. For example, in the first Spider Man movie, when the stocks were never higher at Oscorp, and the board members unanimously wanted to sell the company behind his back, first thing he did, he eliminated the competition. He could care less. There was no diplomatic conversation. There's no forbidden slights, for a need of grandeur. Norman Osborn, he was already on top, corporate king, while his counterpart was even more ruthless. So Loki, no. I mean, Loki's a likable villain. I get it. He's been in tons of movies and, he was awesome. And then he got his own series and then it was terrible. Just like that. Who else? Okay. Age of Ultron. I will give y'all this. Age of Ultron. Ultron himself was a ruthless villain. Very much so. But at the same time, it's like somebody replaced part of his potential for being a amazing villain with Disney tunes. And it was like he was doing like some of the dumbest stuff. So James Spader did a great job. I give him props on his voice acting. But unfortunately, the way Ultron was perceived compared to his actual comic book, character, no, doesn't even compare to Green Goblin. Now, I will say this, I will give credit to this. Marvel's What If, the last two episodes, because I skipped the first set for all that, let's change the character bullshit. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to sit back and watch all that. So the last two episodes were What If Ultron won. That really expanded upon Ultron way better and way worth more to appreciate because he was even more ruthless. First of all, he just sliced up Thanos off the break. He saw him, curious, slice. It reminded me of the laser from one of the last bosses in the anime called Gantz. If you're not familiar with Gantz, look it up, please. Please do, for your sake and mine. If you like anime. So also with Ultron, I think that was it, right? We're waiting on Thanos to come back. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy. Ronan. He was a big guy, big Kree guy, lots of honor, right? No, still doesn't compare. I don't think so. Ronan was a pawn to Thanos. And because of that, Ronan could only be as good as Thanos allowed him. Don't mind me, I'm just sending my link tree into Twitch because I am streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So that's happening right now. I'm trying to not, violate the guidelines and all that stuff that keeps me from playing really awesome music that I enjoy, but I'll do that offline. And I have a subscription to Storyblocks so I can utilize copyright free music, and I have a paid membership for that. I pay my dues in order to do that. So again, back in the day of me and Facebook and being part of eFeds, which we're going to cover that in the future too. I got a lot of archives to talk about where I've been, where I've come from, what I've learned, and how I've progressed. So we'll get into that in future streams. We're going to do this piece by piece. So, all right, we just defined Ronan, a bum. Ego. No, compared to Green Goblin, no. Ego is worried about just having more of him across the universe. He has found meaning, but no. Superman fight with him versus Quill, Star-Lord, that was cool. It was a nice little jab to Man of Steel. But as far as having the villain define a character in such a deeply intimate level, so far, no one compares to Green Goblin. That's what I'm saying. If you disagree, please comment, share this. Ask somebody who might disagree or who needs to see this, because I need to make sure that people are aware of this. Right now, William Dafoe, aka Norman Osborn, aka Green Goblin, is right now the heavyweight champ when it comes to being a legendary MCU villain. I'm just keeping it real with you. I'm just keeping it real. So that's why I gotta make sure y'all see this, and this way. Make sure y'all see this, and it's a reminder, because that's just how it is. That's what it is so far. So ego, we already ego check. Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is not out yet. Still waiting on Adam Warlock. Still waiting. I mean, I don't know what you're doing, Marvel, but we're still waiting. Why is there no Adam Warlock yet? You waiting on James Gunn? I get it, but still waiting. Like, everything Adam Warlock's been known for is already done. I get it. You're going to rehash MCU, different universe, and all that stuff that people would use to defend DC, the DCEU, for years. It's the same thing. All right, so moving on. Captain Marvel. Who was Captain Marvel's villain? Who? Please remind me. Was Supreme Intelligence? No, just no. Whatever Judd Law's character was? No. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, by the way, Ronan never came back for Captain Marvel, by the way, neither. Not like they would have been able to contain her, but still. Who else? Because, we're going to get back to Thanos, and I'm going to talk about Thanos, both versions of Thanos. The Thanos from Infinity War and the Thanos from years past that made it to Endgame. So, damn, my mind is actually drawing a blank. Okay. Captain America villain, the Red Skull. Yes, I will say the Red Skull definitely defined Captain America in a way, because Captain America was used to fight Nazis. And what bigger Nazi is there than The Red Skull, Johann Schmidt. Sorry, energy drink. I'm testing it out, see how it works with the stream. I don't want to be talking drag ass, you know. So the Red Skull comparable, he had visions for the world domination. But that's the difference between the Red Skull and the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin is a character that thrives on destruction. He's the definition of what Michael Caine's Alfred said, some men just want to see the world burn. And is so methodical at doing it. And plus, he's already rich. You know, he's got the means to utilize these technologies that he's been using. If Tony Stark was around in the MCU, you think Norman Osborn, being controlled by the Green Goblin, wouldn't have found a way to steal the Iron Man suit and create the Dark Avengers? Absolutely, sure. They would have given him that opportunity. But, you know, he had to show up for one more cameo, make things happen. And mind you, I'm not taking away anything from Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. Not taking anything away from him at all. He did a phenomenal, fantastic job. I just know that from Spider-Man 2, that he was one of the first attempts at making, having the audience sympathize with the villain, that the villain is actually not that bad, just misunderstood. And in Doc Ock's case, it was the inhibitor chip that was damaged in the back of his neck, the neural link. So the AI was pretty much dictating to him or annoying him with constant voices in his head. You know, he was having Randy Orton syndrome. So moving on. Shocker. Well, look what they did with Shocker. Joaquin Woodbine or even Herman Schultz when he originally had it. They killed him in Spider-Man Homecoming, and then they gave Joaquin Woodbine the new, you know, the role of the new Shocker, and then they did nothing with him. He went toe to toe with Spider-Man the first movie. I was excited to see what he would do next, but like they just tossed him aside. Hey, you're a one-off. I'm like, wait, no, well, no. Shocker is a type of villain that you arrest, or you know, Spider-Man catches. He webs him up, and the police get him, and somehow he gets free. He breaks out, and you know, Spider-Man has to go catch him again. That kind of thing. Hey, what's up, Anthony Savoy? Said this is pretty cool, Rob. Also like Mysterio. Mysterio was good. I'm getting to him. I'm going to get to him in time. I want to make sure that I cover all these pantheon of villains throughout the MCU and Spider-Man movies to make sure that, you know, I'm being fair. That character, Doc Ock and Sandman, they fall under the similar category of, you know, I did what I had to, you know. I'm really a good guy, but I have to do this, you know, for a certain sacrifice. Where Doc Ock, he lost his wife during the whole process, and he lost his mental control. And then Sandman, you know, he's doing anything he can to protect his daughter. You know, noble trait. So, who else? Electro, Jamie Foxx. No, nowhere near a villain. No, as the level of Green Goblin. Just no. I don't even think we need that discussion. The Green Goblin from Amazing Spider-Man 2? No. We don't need to discuss that at all. The Rhino from Amazing Spider-Man 2? No. Just no. Nope. Harry Osborn is a new Goblin. Again, same case. Mistaken, what do you call it? Mistaken nobility. You know, he's trying to defend the honor of his father, who was found. One of my favorite lines of any superhero movie, Spider-Man 2. James Franco's best. I've never seen him do better in anything else since Spider-Man 2. That's just my opinion, though. Please feel free to infer some reference points for me to check out as well. But James Franco, Harry Osborn saying, "You pissing me off with your loyalty to Spider-Man. I find him with my father's body, and you defend him because he's your bread and butter." That is a heck of a line to me. I thought it was going. Every time I hear that line, you can see the passion coming out of Osborn's eyes. Um, who else? I think that covers everybody in Spider-Man. Um, Thor Ragnarok. I mean, Grandmaster. No, no. Jeff Goldblum. Even though Jeff Goldblum was really funny and he was having his little hentai scenes and deleted scenes with some tentacle monster on the holodeck recording of a spaceship, funny, but definitely no Green Goblin level of tenacity and intensity or intelligence. So, no. The Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier, great weapon. Um, Captain America was already defined at that point. So I don't think that the Winter Soldier is considered full on villain. He went from villain to, well, he went from ally to villain, then to ally again, and now he's teaming up with Falcon in their Winter Soldier series that was not that good, in my opinion. Just wasn't. So who else we got? Hmm. 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 I'm actually starting to draw a blank because like there just there just weren't that many. There really aren't anybody that can stand the test of time as Green Goblin or William Defoe's Green Goblin. I just can't really think of any. Feel free to share um, your opinions, your thoughts. That may actually help jog my memory. Um, Captain America 3, Civil War. Who was the villain? Was it Zemo or was it Iron Man? Take your pick. Shim, was it Shang-Chi, the Mandarin? Yeah, okay. Definitely nowhere near as ruthless and evil as Green Goblin. I'm going through this list and I'm just being honest. You know, if you have a difference of opinion, please share it with me. Let's hear it because I'm wondering who is comparable. Who's comparable to Green Goblin because he knows best how to be a villain. He's just done it so well. And he was there for a long time. Spider-Man 1 was what, 2000, 2002, 2003? So that's a long time. Who else? Drawing a blank here. In fact, let me go ahead and type this up. I probably should have typed this up and had this ready for this stream since we're going to be talking about this stuff. Let's see. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Okay. Mm, yeah. At one point, Scarlet Witch was considered a villain. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Vulture. Vulture, Adrian Toomes was a working man. I'm not saying that he was bad, but he's a different type of villain that cared more about providing for his family than anything else. For those of y'all that have finally and hopefully have seen um, the post-credit scenes of Morbius, you'll see that you'll see that Adrian Toomes teams up with Morbius too, and Morbius obviously is no longer a villain. I guess he never was, according to his movie. And since he didn't have Spider-Man to, really build that off of, just not there. You know, said they never had the Hobgoblin yet appear. Did they maybe? No Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin is probably somebody that's going to show up from another universe. And I would laugh my ass off if Hobgoblin was portrayed by Mark Hamill, because he actually did the voice of Hobgoblin in the Spider-Man 90s Fox cartoon. That would be really funny. I'm sure they'll find a way to maybe have him do a cameo, but Green Goblin has made such an impression, it's just hard to dismiss. Let's see. Arthur Howell from that Moon Knight series? No. I mean, I get it. Cult leader. He answers to other Egyptian gods that, are at battle with each other using human avatars. Fine. But Green Goblin level? No. Because if he was, when he met the guy that's playing his Moon Knight, Mark, or whatever his split personality alternative name is, he probably would have killed him then and there if he could. So that's just a matter of just not good enough. I got to be honest. Just not good enough. Who else we got? Kingpin. I think I mentioned Kingpin for a second, but I didn't fully elaborate on him. Kingpin is on the level of Norman Osborn, but he has his sanity. That's the difference. And because of that, Kingpin has managed to move around a lot using very calculating methods, managing coercion and blackmail, things like that. He's not as overt as the Green Goblin because, again, he has his sanity and he wants to survive, under the radar without being detected. Green Goblin will wait to the right minute, and then he's going to pumpkin bomb whatever it is he's trying to take out. And when he hits those, with every pumpkin bomb he hit in Spider-Man No Way Home, I can't reiterate that enough. I want to make sure that people are reminded of that. Every pumpkin bomb he threw had a purpose. At least one of them he didn't throw. And it still did its thing. So again, Kingpin, in a way, a relatable level. They're both rich. They both have resources and assets, but Green Goblin is a do-it-yourself type of person. What's his name? Malekith from Thor: The Dark World. Yeah. One of the most forgettable villains of all time. And I'm not just saying that. That's just because everything else about that movie was slightly remembered except for him. And he was the one that yielded the reality stone. So not really too impressive. Just being honest. So who else do we have left? Can't really think of much. Let's see, categories, villains. Oh, Hela of Thor Ragnarok. Wow, I thought Hela looked phenomenal, played by Cate Blanchett. And she was pretty ruthless. She was. But again, I think that insanity factor, and she was like a goddess of death, that type of thing. So she had a hell of a means to inflict lots of death. She was willing to kill anyone just as fast, if not faster, as the Green Goblin would be willing to. I agree with that. They have their similarities. And again, that factor of insanity that Green Goblin operates on, it's just too brutal, man. Way too brutal. He was so determined. Even if you look at the first Spider-Man, when they were fighting in the abandoned building, he said, "Now that you really pissed me off, I'm going after Mary Jane." And we're doing it in the most methodical, nice, and slow method possible. If Spider-Man didn't get it by then, he was gonna die. And so was Mary Jane in a very painful death. So, I got to make sure I reiterate that brutality to which Green Goblin exists. Aldrich Killian, Iron Man 3. I'm sure I already mentioned this, but yeah, no, no. He had three types of Mandarins, technically, and they weren't cool. Like, none of them. Aldrich Killian, I thought, was cool without the Mandarin moniker because of his whole extremist thing. And he had a way to fight Tony Stark, and he was burning through some suits. I thought that wasn't that bad. Um, but, people like what I don't like, and I like what people don't like. So that's how that goes. Next up, who's another villain? Give me another villain. I mean, I think all we got left is Thanos. I think that's all we have left. Because Ghost Rider isn't considered. Oh, Ghost Rider isn't considered a villain. Well, since I mentioned, let me do this. Since we're all talking MCU, since I did mention Kingpin, and he's from the Netflix Daredevil series, and he was very good at his role, very good, killer, so to speak. I have to go ahead and mention the rest of the villains from those MCU TV shows, but I'm not those Disney ones. I wouldn't even consider them villains at all. They're just window dressing, as Ric Flair would say. They were there, you know, unimportant to me, especially what's the name, the leader of the Flag Smashers. Not important at all. U.S. agent was more important than her. Um, but yeah, to be fair, what's his name? Purple Man. Oof. Purple Man was methodically insane and brutal. Now, I think he has an aspect that's similar to Green Goblin because Green Goblin, if there is no Spider Man after a while, because Spider Man became the obsession of Goblin when you start interfering with his plans and stuff like that, movie wise. And because of that, Goblin became tethered in a way, to Peter Parker and Spider Man. So I think, in a way, Purple Man with Jessica Jones, Kilgrave, he became tethered to Jessica Jones as well because he could care less, before they met, but once they met, he knew he could manipulate her, and she had super strength on top of that. And from there, pretty much, he became obsessed with her, taunting her and terrorizing her in any way he could. Kind of like that thing, if I can't have you, no one can. So that's a pretty twisted and maniacal angle of a character that I will admit that's pretty on par to Green Goblin. Um, but Green Goblin, that dude, he will perform mass homicide, mass genocide on as many people as he can. Um, Kilgrave is more about, hey, I want Jessica Jones to do what I want, and I'm going to use as many people possible. But since I'm only using mind control, very few are going to die, as many as if Goblin did. Goblin likes casualties, he likes body counts. So who else? Cottonmouth. Mahershala Ali did a great job as Cottonmouth, but Insanity, no. Crossbones. While Crossbones, he's a excellent combatant. No, Mm-mm. Nope. I'm going through the list and I'm still trying to figure out who would be comparable because I think we're pretty much just down to Thanos. Oh, Killmonger from Black Panther. Killmonger had one goal. He got to rule all of Wakanda, and because of that, he just wanted to invade all other countries. Was that a misguided plot? I don't know. That's up for interpretation. But yeah, Killmonger and Green Goblin. Not really sure where to put Killmonger in that category of the things he did to get to where he wanted. He wanted his birthright acknowledged. That took some effort, provability. Cool. Um, ah, what's it from the Black Widow movie? What's the guy's name? Dracoff. Not even worth this conversation, this discussion at all. Dracoff's daughter, even more not even worth this conversation. You y'all agenda swapped her for Taskmaster. That's terrible. Why? Story for another day. So that's pretty much it. Uh, yeah, I guess that just boils it down to Thanos. So with Thanos, this guy's worried about trying to minimize the resources of people that consume and possibly, allow planets and universes and stars to go barren. Noble trait. I believe some commentators call this guy basically an eco-terrorist. That's terrible, man. If it was, okay, William Defoe, his Norman Osborn wanted to get revenge on Spider-Man, especially once he found out that Harry Osborn got broken up from MJ, and how close they were. That was an additional tactic. Did Norman Osborn shed a tear? No, he sure didn't. But when Thanos sacrificed Gamora for the Soul Stone in Infinity War, yeah, he was in tears. Soft villain. Soft villain. Not crazy enough. We know that the Thanos of the comics did everything he did for love of death. That was his real motivation. So that version of Thanos, no. Great resources, armies, all that stuff. Just still no. Considered to the ruthlessness that Green Goblin showed in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, if he was never in that movie, I probably wouldn't be making this comparison. Maybe, maybe not. But I will say this. The Thanos in Endgame, pretty ruthless. He just wanted to wipe out everything. And yeah, he didn't really care about sacrifices in the regards of, losing his daughter or anything. He was just compelled and determined to get everything he needed to wipe out the Avengers and, any opposition whatsoever. Start fresh, a new Genesis, so to speak. So, with that being said, that's where it went. Honestly, I still can't think of anybody to take that place of this heavyweight champ in the form of Green Goblin. But so be it. That happens. Not everyone can be great, and not every MCU villain can achieve what was already originally achieved. I'm just keeping it real. Don't get mad at me. So moving forward, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to try to do some drawing, a little bit of artwork. I'll show you my workflow, and we'll keep it rolling for at least about 20 more minutes. All right, so I will be back shortly. Feel free to take a bathroom break, get a new beverage or something like that, and then I'm going to drift over from this discussion we just had to onto the art stuff, and I'll share some of my workflow with you guys. All righty. So I shall return in just a moment. Pardon me, I'm still trying to get the hang of this whole StreamYard thing. I like it. It's not too bad. It's easier to use than OBS. So I think there is plenty and great potential for amazing things ahead. Yeah, I've been hearing more and more about a thing called fake news. Fake news. I've seen people destroyed, and I think it's very express. I want to see it on express, but for nations and quarters will not tell you the truth. So go over just some of them. MSNBC, you are fake news. The New York Times, you are fake news. CBS, NBC, ABC, LA Times, you are fake news. The Washington Post, you are fake news. Very fake news. Political, BuzzFeed, failing pile of garbage. I've been hearing more and more about a thing called fake news. Fake news. I've seen people destroyed, and I think it's very unfair. Some of the media outlets that does it with the fake news. Fake news. I think it's a disgrace. The absolute disgrace. All right, we are back here, ladies and gentlemen. If you have gotten a chance to watch this stream, we covered a little bit of William Defoe as the Green Goblin. Had to go ahead and give him his credit because, hey, the man knows how to play that role so well. And now we're on to a little bit of artwork. I know YouTube's pretty keen on you can't use XYZ music and all that, so I'm going to avoid and try my best to avoid doing that. But in the process, I'm working on a piece. I mainly use two programs for art. I've been through a whole lot of them, but I have found that the main two to actually keep a good workflow without having to start all over on how to use them, because every art program is slightly different, are Clip Studio Paint and Procreate. Procreate I've been using since 2008 or somewhere around there where it first came out. Very much awesome product. Um, I've watched the evolution of it. I've experienced it pretty well, and it works fairly easy for me. Um, Less, icons and stuff all over the screen, but things in a very simplistic manner to where I can go ahead and produce decent artwork. So from there, also I have been using Clip Studio Paint, formerly called Manga Studio Pro. Excuse me. And this program has allowed me to do a lot. I, again, have been keeping up with it for a long time. And with Clip Studio Paint, um, that's pretty much my comic book go-to from start to finish. Just because I can do my artwork in 600 DPI, I can really bring out colors and put things together. They haven't changed the program too much to where I'm not familiar with it. So I still use it. It's better than ever. It's available for the iPad now. I use the iPad version more than I do the desktop version. Um, I would like to get into animation at some point, but to do that, well, once I get to the point of doing that, I can go ahead and utilize a desktop version, which has much more processing power, I think, than my iPad. So that's how I look at it. That's how I keep it rolling. For a while, I was using the whole Adobe Creative Cloud, Creative Suite thing. I was doing that back when it first started, and I discovered that it was pretty expensive, and they kept adding more programs and stuff like that, which is great. It's fantastic. But, I couldn't justify the price for it. So when I was going to school, I had the student discount, and that was pretty awesome to try out. It was also during that I was able to learn video editing as well. So I have fun with that when I can. But overall, the whole Adobe experience became way too expensive for me. And I get it, it's the industry standard, but you also have to have an industry standard hardware device to keep up with it, and that's expensive too. So if I'm not working already in that industry full time and making, 150K a year, I can't really justify hanging on to that software. So I found lots of alternatives. Uh, Art Studio Pro was my Photoshop alternative because I got tired of Photoshop crashing my laptop. It got to the point where it was just too much for it to bear. And from there, I went to Art Studio Pro, and that was pretty good, for what it was. And that allowed me to do some easy graphic design work as well for people that would ask me for it. So I got commissions done that way. And after a while, Procreate kept getting better and better. And from there, when I did finally get into Clip Studio Paint, I was so shocked at how good it was because previous people that owned Manga Studio, they had made some changes with it, and I didn't entirely agree with it. I didn't think it worked too well for me. So that's where I gravitated away. Did a little bit of Autodesk Sketchbook, and Autodesk Sketchbook took me down a long rabbit hole as well with some of this stuff. But I was still able to produce some work. The user interface wasn't as optimal friendly as I would have liked it to have been, but I still endured it. But with the two that I use right now, which is Procreate and Clip Studio Paint, I can produce some pretty good work. Again, I started off originally a traditional artist. I learned digital of my own free will. And with that choice, I created my own new stress levels of some of the stuff that came along with it. You know, buying brushes, software updates, incompatible stuff, you know, all that headache that comes with it. And again, I'd like to give a shout out to How to Draw Comics, uh, Corey and Clayton Barton, also uh, Mr. Fayok. I want to make sure I get his first name right, Jeff Fayok. Um, the classes that they have taught on comic book creation have really catapulted and motivated me to get back on track to what my original goals were. All the way back since I was in kindergarten, I was asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? It was never to work for Marvel or DC. It was specifically to create my own comic book characters. And in learning that process, you know, thanks to some people that are pro-America and really help small businesses grow, that inspired me to start my LLC. And thus, that's where I'm at now. To my own independent publisher to publish my work. So I am thankful to have had good teachers in my life, and you know the teachers that I have right now. Like I'm a part of the How to Draw Comics virtual classroom on Facebook. That's the only reason I have a Facebook page. It is not in my link tree because I'm only there to learn. I'm not really there to socialize because when I was on Facebook, it was a hot mess, and I prefer not to go down that road again. And plus, I don't want to give uh, Facebook a suck as the Merovingian in the Matrix uh, Resurrections called him. I don't want to give him no more than what I have to. You know, am I on Instagram? Yes, but that's as far as I go. You know, you won't find me on Meta. I won't have nothing to do with Meta, and that's that. You know, so that's my workflow. I mean, from Clip Studio Paint, well, from Procreate to Clip Studio Paint, you know, I have some really awesome work. Hopefully, I don't get shut down for a little bit of stuff that I show. And, you know, the amount of detail that I can show with Clip Studio Paint for this work, I'm extremely thankful for. You know, I sucked at rendering in the past because I didn't understand it, the hatching and cross hatching, because technically, if you don't have a comic book illustrator as your mentor that's teaching you these things, it may be hard to process seeing it from the outside, which it was for me. For me, learning how to draw wasn't a problem. It was learning how to develop the style of drawing in which it's in a sequence that makes sense, pleasing to the eye, and also it was something you could call your own. Thankfully, I've been drawing for such a long time that the style wasn't the problem. It was the niche market that I was, you know, kind of dancing around because I started appreciating growing up off of, you know, Marvel and DC comics. And then I got hooked into manga, well, anime, because it was way more detailed and way more intricate with the storylines and all that stuff. So For me, I kind of left or cast aside the whole thing and read books on the fusion of Western style and Eastern style comics. And we got some of those examples in the DC animated universe movies like Batman, Superman, Public Enemy, Crisis on Two Earths, Justice League, Under the Red Hood with Batman, you know. So those exist, and they're great testaments to the fusion that can work out very well. But I knew I needed to come home to American style comics, and with great people like uh, Clayton Barton, Jeff Fayok, um, inspirational people, artists that I do study their work and look to them for inspiration, like Brett Booth, David Finch. And these are names that, you know, from watching their live streams, I learned um, what it was that I needed to pursue. So that's just a little bit of examples into my world. And in the future, like I said, I'm still getting used to this whole position of drawing and streaming this way. It's kind of awkward for me, but I only got so much room on the table. You know, I'm rocking with three monitors and, you know, iPad and then this big old microphone in the way. But hey, I enjoy it. You know, I'm not complaining at all. I am thankful and blessed for what I have. I'm thankful to be home and to be able to enjoy all that I have. And hopefully, in the future, what I have may be something that you can enjoy as well in the comic book aspect of things, content creation aspect of things, and just overall general ideas and perception. Because, again, as I mentioned in my last stream, I'm a pretty multifaceted person. Um, to a degree, nothing is beyond the realm or escape of possibilities. And as long as your mind is sharp and able to do that, it's a higher thought process. Let me put it that way. So, all right. Well, I don't want to bog y'all down with all my talk and sketch, but I would like to go ahead and bring you back one more time. If you are interested in seeing more of my work, you can find it all of it on Linktree. So that's HTTPS colon or double whatever you call it // linktr.ee/RWARTSTLELLATIONS. That's Linktree /RW Artstellations. And my Patreon link is right at the top. As I showed you earlier, is my Patreon, all kinds of stuff going on. 3D art, referencing, and sketching and stuff like that. That was me when I was overseas. You know, new characters, script writing going on, all that kind of stuff. I have a small page. You know, I'm not ashamed to say it. It is what it is. But the key thing is, I'm not going to stop doing what I love to do. It's just a matter of hopefully other people do appreciate it. Do I talk smack and trash? Absolutely. You know, that's something you develop once you get like almost at 40. You know, I can definitely say I have not been unscathed through life, but I'm here, and I'm glad to share it with anybody that, you know, might enjoy it as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I got for today, and it went a lot longer than I thought it would, which was good. I had the whole MCU to blabberskite about freaking Green Goblin, so it was pretty cool. It's glad to share that with you guys. Hope you have a great day. I am out of here, and I'm probably going to go do some drawing or maybe take a break and play some Dragon's Crown because I love that game. Um, Wizards rule the world, Wizards lead the way. So y'all take care, and thank you so much for watching. Again, if you like my content, drop a like, follow, subscribe. You know, tell me what you think because this train is constantly going. It's not stopping no time soon. All right, y'all have a good one. Thanks. Bye.